guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to sit down and just do a bronzy, glowy, dewy, summer vibes kind of tutorial. So if you guys want to see what I came up with, then just keep on watching. So I've already prepped my face. I did use the Murad skin perfecting lotion, and I also used the Glow recipe watermelon pink juice moisturizer. And on the real dry spots, I don't know why I've been having some dry spots down here, but I did apply a little bit of my Luxie melt here, just a tiny bit, just to moisturize a little bit on those dry spots. Since my skin is looking really glowy and dewy, I do want to use the Milk Hydro Grip Primer so that my foundation stays and it doesn't move anywhere, but I also want to keep that glowy look to the skin. So I'm going to start off with that Milk Hydro Primer and just apply it on the center of my face and then just work it out. I love this primer. It has been working so well for me. Definitely worth the hype. A lot of people have been talking about it and it is actually really good. So if you guys are wondering or wanted to know my opinion on it, I think it works really good. It's really moisturizing to the face as well. Keeps your makeup in place all day actually. It's pretty good. I feel like I've been able to use it with every foundation that I have so far. I did try it with the Fenty foundation and I felt like that maybe didn't work so much, just maybe because that is more of a matte foundation, but I have used it with my other one, so they have worked so far. When you first apply this, it is gonna feel really tacky, and actually that's what I like. And I'm just gonna let it sit here for a little bit. And I already did my brows, and always using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow. I think the shade is Ebony. Yes, Ebony is the shade I use. Okay, now that I let that sit for a bit, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. I'm gonna be using the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. I'm in the shade Medium Neutral, but I'm also gonna be mixing in a little bit of these drops. These are the Sunbeam from Benefit. They're just like a highlighter type of thing, but they come in like a nail polish. I'm just gonna put that here on the back of my hand, going a little bit more, and then I'm gonna mix that in with my foundation right here, just because I want a little bit of that glowiness from it. And I'm not putting too much, just enough to cover my face. So I'm just gonna mix it here with my brush. This is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Flat Top Buffing Foundation brush number 6. So I'm just gonna go and place that on my face. So you guys can see that foundation goes a really long way. It's actually one of my favorite foundations, along with the Wet n Wild foundation. That's another one of my favorites, and I also feel like that one's really dewy. And also the L'Oreal Lumi foundation, that one is really good too. And I'm just getting the rest to put on my forehead. As you guys can see, I didn't have to waste any of that foundation. One drop and a little bit of the Benefit highlighter goes just fine, and you don't need to get any more foundation. So there is the foundation done. And now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'm gonna use the Tarte Shape Tape, and I'm using the shade Light Neutral. And then for my inner corner here, to make it just a tiny bit brighter, I'm gonna use the ColourPop No Filter concealer, and this is just the white one. And I also use it here on my nose, and then I'll go in with my Tarte Shape Tape one, and this one I just use a little bit because this is a really full coverage concealer. So that's all I do with that. I'm gonna grab my crown brush that I always use for concealer. And I'm gonna start down here to actually. You guys can see I'm just brightening a little bit the center of my face with this. Just buffing it out, because then it's just gonna look strange if you just have like this part all lighter than the rest of your face. As you guys can see, I like to bring it also on my lid. just to prep for eyeshadow that we're gonna put in there. Still trying to keep the skin pretty dewy. And I feel when I pull that concealer out like this, it just makes my eye a little bit more elongated this way. So that's another reason why I like to pull it out all the way out here. And right now the skin is still looking pretty dewy because I haven't put any powders on. The only place that I will put powders on usually in the summer is anywhere that I'll get oily, since my skin is pretty dry. I just use it here on my forehead, around my nose, and a little bit on my chin. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Butter Powder. This is just a small version of it. I wanted to try it out before I actually bought the big thing of it, and I actually do like this a lot. And I'm just using my big Real Techniques sponge. So I'm gonna go ahead and set down here and make sure you're working into the skin. Well, that's weird. If you guys can see, that just made like a weird thing over here. It hasn't done that before. I wonder what the deal is. Yeah, it does not look good. Okay, we're not gonna set the chin. I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe that part off real quick. It doesn't look good. It looks patchy, and like the foundation was just breaking out. It was weird. We're gonna put concealer on there real quick. I'm just gonna let this dry for a bit. You see, I'm just putting a little bit of concealer back on, I guess. And hoping that it won't look too crazy. I go in with the foundation brush just to tone down the brightness of it a little bit. How weird, it hasn't done that before. Okay, just went in a little bit with that foundation brush just to tone it down a little bit. This doesn't look too bright, too much brighter than the rest of the face. Okay, well, maybe I won't use that to set everything in place. I have used that before with my other foundation. I mean, with this foundation. So I don't know what the deal was. I'm not gonna use that. Let's see what else we can use. I think I'm gonna go in with my BH Cosmetics contour palette. I kind of just want a wash of the powder on my face so it stays in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this shade right here. Just at the same spots that I was trying to set before. You guys can see it didn't do that this time with this powder. So it's definitely not the foundation. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on my forehead and then a little bit around my nose. Okay, and now I'm gonna go in with this L'Oreal True Match Lumi bronzer. I have actually just recently purchased this. I've been using it for maybe a week or so, and I freaking love it. It has some gold shimmers in it. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it has some pretty gold shimmers in it. I feel like it leaves the face looking really bronzy and pretty and golden. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Equal Tools brush for that. Just go around the bronzer like so, and then just place it on my face. You guys can see that it's a little bit like glowy, so it doesn't like mattify completely your skin, and it looks really pretty. Just because it has those gold shimmers in it, it leaves the skin looking really glowy and pretty. Gonna contour like I normally would, or not contour, bronze up my face like I normally would. Okay, you guys can see the skin's still looking pretty glowy and dewy after putting powder down. Then I'm just gonna go back and blend that concealer out because it likes to crease if you haven't set it. Okay, and then just to give the face a little bit of color and a sun-kissed look, I'm gonna go in with some blush. This is the Juvia's Place Saharan blush palette, and I'm gonna go with the shade here, this orangey shade called Towel, right there. And this is just a Real Techniques brush. I'm gonna go in on my cheeks here. And I'm also going to go over the nose here a little bit, just the bridge of the nose, and also on my chin and a little bit on my forehead. I like to take a little bit here on this side so I look like I have more of that like sun-kissed kind of look. And then for highlighter, I'm going to go in with the Ofra highlighter. This is in the shade Rodeo Drive, and I'm just going to hit my cheekbones here just with a little bit for now. Well, I guess that's not a little bit. It doesn't look like a little bit on the camera. All those powders melt into the face. I'm gonna grab my MAC Prep and Prime and just spray my face with it. Just gonna let it dry. You guys can see it's still looking really dewy and glowy. Ta-da! So there is the face part all done. For the eyes, we're gonna go in with the Morphe Dare to Create palette, and we're gonna use some of the brown shades in here to create our bronzy, dewy look for our eyes. I'm gonna start with the fluffy brush, and that is the Morphe E27 brush. I'm gonna grab this shade right here, the second brown shade here from the palette, and I'm gonna put that above the crease. If you guys feel like you guys grab too much eyeshadow and you don't want it to go on too harsh, what you can do is hold it from the tip. You hold your brush from the tip so that way when you're blending it into your eye, it doesn't come off too strong and you're still trying to blend it in, just like I'm doing right now. Because sometimes I feel like even though I like tap it, sometimes it still has a lot on the brush and then you end up with more than what you're really wanting to go for. I'm just going in circular motions here. That is on top of my crease and a little closer to my brow bone actually, if you guys can see that. I am going right below my brow bone here. And so for right now, I want to leave this shade this way. I'm not going to go ahead and intensify it because I'm going to go ahead and use it to blend the next shade that I'm going to use. Okay, and the next brush I'm going to use is going to be the Morphe E22 brush. And I'm going to grab just a little bit of a darker shade now. So I'm going to go in with that third shade right here, this one right here. And for that shade, I'm going to go into the crease and blend it in with that last shade that we just used. And also here on the outer edge here of the eye. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that shade, tap out the excess, and go back in with that. Make sure you work it into the inner corner as well. Just a little bit. You don't need to intensify it or anything. Whatever you had left, what you had here. You don't need to go with any extra eyeshadow. Gonna go back in with that first brush we used, that was the E27 brush, and use that lighter shade, and just gonna blend this darker shade so it looks all nicely blended and like it's gradually getting darker as you go down into the lid. And then all over the lid, I'm gonna use this darker shade right here and use that on the lid. Put it all over the lid. Oh, and this is the E17 brush. Just packing that on the lid. and bringing it up to that other shade that we used. I'm gonna go in with the E22 brush, grab the second darkest shade that we used, and blend that color out. Just the edges of it, and I barely grabbed any product. I'm just making sure that those edges are blended out. And then the same thing, grabbing the E27 brush and the lightest shade that we used, and just blending out that next color. And I'm going in a little bit in here with whatever I had extra on my brush, just in circular motions. Make sure everything looks nicely blended. And I'm also blending it out here on the outer edge, if you guys can see that. I'm gonna go ahead and use the same colors on the bottom. It all looks universal. It's not like you're using different shades for it. Okay. That's that part. And then I'm gonna go in with this bronzy shade right here. And I'm just gonna grab it with my finger. And I'm gonna put that on top of that darker brown that we used. And just put it on my entire lid. Gonna go back in with that brush, the Morphe E17. Grab the darkest brown that we had used. Just a tiny bit. And I'm gonna grab it all the way from the bottom here, so that I can just blend it in to the edge of where I just placed that shimmer shade. Placing it here also on the outer corner. And that's pretty much it for the lid. Now we're gonna go into the bottom lash line. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the lower lash line. The first color that I'm gonna grab is gonna be the second darkest shade that we used, which was this one right here. And I'm just gonna swipe that back and forth. I'm not trying to be too careful with it or too precise, just right underneath the lash line. Connecting it with that outer edge here. And now I'm going to be a little more precise. I'm going to grab this M432 brush. It's just an angled flat brush here. I'm going to grab the darkest brown that we used on the lid. And that one I'm going to place it right underneath the lash line here. And I'm dabbing it in instead of swiping back and forth. And then I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit with the big fluffy brush. This is the E27, and use the lightest shade that we used, and I'm barely dabbed it in there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place it right underneath of the other color that we used, just so that it all looks nice and smoky, and blend it together. And then I am going to grab my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencil and just place that on the waterline. I'm going to use the Butter London Power Up Mascara for my lashes. I'm gonna go off camera, do the other eye, and I will be right back. Okay guys, so we are back with the other eye done. I did pop up some lashes and also put a little bit of eyeliner. I used the Ardell Demi Wispies for my eyelashes, and then just use the NYX black liquid eyeliner. So now we will go ahead and do the lips. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my ColourPop lippy pencil. This is in the shade BFF3. And I am gonna grab that shade and put it all over the lips. And I did overline that bottom lip a little bit. And now I'm doing the same to the top. And then this side of my lip is always harder to do just because this side is bigger than this side. I don't know why, but it is. It's like more flat on this side. So I have to really overline that part to make it look just like this one. I think they look pretty close. And then over that lip liner, I'm gonna go in with the BH Cosmetics Cashmere Cream. This is in the shade Perf. Just gonna go over that. Just put that in the center a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in with my Dose of Colors. This is the one with the Katie and Ezzy collection. This is called Over the Top, and I'm just gonna put that over the top of everything. This gloss is just gonna help put everything together so it doesn't look like it's not blended. Then to set everything in place, I'm gonna go ahead and use my MAC Fix Plus again and just put that all over the face. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I really love how this look came out. I feel really bronzy, really glowy, really dewy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next one. Toodles!